Peace. Hi, fire signs. How are y'all doing? Welcome to Tarot Time with Amani. Thank you guys for joining me so much. Oh my goodness, my fire signs. Where y'all at? My Leos. What's good, Leo? My Sagittarius is. What's good, Sagittarius squad? And my Aries. I hope that everyone is doing well. I hope that I speak that 2023 has been a fiery, feisty start for my fire signs. And we know that fire is a purifier. Let's just say that fire clears the way and it purifies as well. So sometimes you have to burn. You have to burn in order to be a phoenix. You have to burn down to the ashes, baby. The phoenix has to burn all the way down to the ash in order to be a phoenix so that it can rise up from the ashes. So I speak that you guys have been using your transformative energy, fire sign. I speak that this year of 2023 has already been just really culminating, and you pulling in from all of the flame from the inside, and you've been pulling that flame from inside and pulling it out in order to use it to manifest and transmute your environment. Okay, I even if you know what I'm saying, for my fire signs, I pray that you guys have not allowed your flame to be extinguished. And I know that you haven't, because if you made it to 2023, I know that you still have a flame somewhere deep down inside. That is our word for today, fire signs, and it is flame. It is flame. Our word for today is flame. For this week is flame. Okay, so I want you to really focus on your flame. What feeds your flame? What feeds that fire deep down on the inside of you? Some of you may not have been, I don't know, this is just messages coming to me. So before we get into the astrology or the tarot, I just want to give you this. Some of you fire signs have been, your flame has been, things and situations in life is like dousing it a little bit or making it weaker or weaker. I want y'all to notice your flame right now. And if that flame is not fully burning the way that you know that it needs to burn in order for you to manifest your greatest version, then this is a call to remind you, fire sign, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. This is to remind you of your flame. I want you to be mindful to do things to feed your flame. Be mindful that you are doing things to feed that flame and not dousing it with self-doubt. Come on, because it could be self-sabotage. Come on now. Come on now. And this is if your sun, moon, or rising sign is Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. So make sure you're not self-defeating as well, fire sign. So do things this week. Make sure you're feeding the flame, because that flame has to stay fed. It has to stay fed, because that's how it's going to purify. That's how it's going to burn hot enough in order to purify and in order to transform the things about yourself. Because you can't change things about the world, about anything else in the world. You can change you, though. You can change yourself. You can change your thoughts and your perceptions and, your actions. Those are things that you can change. So that your flame is burning hot enough in order to go through the purification process that you're going to need to go through in order to transmute and go to the next level, because you're capable of doing it. You're capable of doing it. So let's go ahead and get into the astrology. We'll start with let's start with Leo. Okay, so Leo, right now, oh my goodness, the moon is in your ruling house right now, the 5th house. And that's so you've been, Leo, many of you have been really finding a lot of pleasure in opening your heart, or you've been in a place of being more open-hearted. And you've actually, you're growing because of it. Like, really, you're growing because of that. Or if you have not been, if you're a Leo and you've been closing your heart off, this is your call right now to stop doing that. Don't do that. Right now is the time you need to be, Leo, you need to be opening your heart. You need to be a lot more genuine about your feelings. and not, guarding them so much, or giving the world so much of that, what you think that they want to see, the big broad production of, I am the Leo, I have entered the room, I have entered the building. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Bow down. The Leo is now entered. You know what I'm saying? No, 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 no. Really, your heart, even the vulnerable spaces of your heart, right now is a great time for you to be, to open yourself, into partnership, into relationship. It's a great time to do that, and you will find into things that you feel pleasure in, so not just opening up to any and everything, but where is your pleasure, where is your passion, Leo? So that's where you need to put your heart is, right? You need to put your heart where your pleasure and where your passion is, because you're going to find great reward in doing that. Sagittarius, right now, many Sagittarius may have been feeling, uh, between a mix between your ideas in transformation, and also your ideas as it relates, to philosophy. So as far as, the why of things, some of you have been really passionate about why right now. Why is this happening, or what is, as it relates to your ability to transform. Maybe it's the ability to transform yourself, or maybe it's the ability of you to transform a relationship. But Sag has been asking why. Sag wants to know, the deeper meaning behind, and even maybe some of you have been delving into philosophy, or a spiritual meaning behind all of this. So you want to know what is the divine meaning, the divine purpose. There's got to be something more to this than what we are just going from day to day to day to day. So many of you Sagittarius have been, really seeking, divine wisdom from, different sources. Whatever your faith, is your spirituality. You're tapping into your spirituality heavily right now. And you're using that as a means to transform your ideals as it relates to, to who you are, and not just how you show up in the world, but higher levels of knowledge, higher levels of how the world works, higher levels of spiritual knowledge as well. So things that we don't necessarily, you know, aren't necessarily in the physical realm of how we look at, like the natural world, but the spiritual world. I hope you guys are following that. So whatever your spiritual path is, many of you have been really heavy on the seeker side behind that. There's no transits right now happening for you, Sag. But if you have been feeling that energy, then it's quite natural. I do want to let you know. Don't be afraid of it. Don't fear it. But dig deeper into your spirit, because the deeper you dig into your spirit, that's going to help you to get through whatever transformation. Because with that eighth house being there as well, that means that many of you have been going, the beginning of this year has been some heavy transformation for you guys. Really heavy, for us, heavy transformations going on. So how we're going to get through these heavy transformations that we're dealing with right now, it's going to be, from being in tune with our spirit. You must be in tune with your spirituality, regardless of how you believe, what you believe, how you pray, what you say, when you pray. Regardless of any of that, I'm not, here to tell you one thing over the other. But what I am saying is that you're going to need to rely on some knowledge that goes beyond what, this man's, this that type of, you need something that's rooted in something deeper. So I'm just advising you, Sagittarius, however your spiritual practice, it's a great time to lean on that, to find out the why. And then last but not least is Aries. Aries right now, you guys are actually mostly 12th house. You are mostly 12th house. You are sharing the 12th house, looks like, with Pisces. Now, you are somewhat in first house as well. So your sense of, so Aries, you guys have been feeling, you have been undergoing transformative understandings about who you are, your identity, literally, quite literally, your identity, Aries. You guys have been redefining yourselves, maybe even reinventing yourself. A lot of Aries have been finding ways to reinvent themselves. Maybe you have cut your hair. Maybe you have, dyed your hair. Maybe gotten a new, you decide to do a new look this season, a new this, something is transforming about how you show up in the world. And it's you're getting a lot of your inspiration from your dreams, Aries. You're getting a lot of inspiration from your own subconscious mind. So pay attention to thoughts and patterns that you have right now currently. Pay attention to them, because of the fact that you're going to get a lot of intuitive knowledge on how to redefine yourself, on what's real, versus you just being a pattern, or mimicking, you know what I'm saying, or doing something that you see someone else do. You're going to be able to really redefine yourself in the truest sense of the word of self. If you do this by relying on your own subconscious. So things that you've been putting back in your mind, back, you keep putting it off, things that you've wanted to do for years, you know what I'm saying, visions that you've had of yourself, of things that you wanted from life from years ago. Exploring your own subconscious mind and really mining your own mind, and finding things from that subconscious that you can incorporate in this rebirth of whoever you're reinventing yourself. However, whatever way that you want to reinvent yourself and to show up in the world, because maybe the way you were showing up, Aries, wasn't working well for you. So if it wasn't working well for you, this is asking you to be real, and to realize that you weren't being real, and that's not working, or you're being something, or you're doing something about yourself, and the way you're showing up maybe was not working. And for Aries, that can be having the tendency to want to always be first, to be somewhat bossy, you know what I'm saying, to be somewhat immature at times, but if that wasn't working well for you, Aries, then it's time to break that pattern. It's time to, set a new trend for yourself. Chiron being in Aries, definitely asking you and requesting you to take a look at your past, and even karmic debts that have traveled with you from past lives or past experiences that have stuck to your spirit, that you're being presented with the same lesson. How are you going to handle it in this lifetime? Because if you don't handle it correctly, according to some, Eastern philosophies, that lesson will travel and then it'll be the same thing happening to you in another life, until you ascend the lesson and you learn the lesson. So Aries, for some of you, it could be those things. So just be aware. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get into the tarot. I have already thoroughly shuffled all right. All right, so fire signs. First card is in the suit of wands, and it's advocacy standing strong, and it is reversed. Advocacy standing strong. So for some of you fire signs, you have been advocating for something or for someone. You have been advocating for something or someone that is not working in your benefit or your best interest. You have been working against your own best interest in advocating for something or someone, fire sign. This card is asking you or making you aware, and I'm just looking at the astrology right now. Specifically Leo, with you advocating for something or someone, it could have been where your heart was not. You remember I was telling you with the moon right now being in the 5th house in Leo, your heart is somewhere that you were not present. You weren't present where your heart was. So you were advocating, and I want to look at this card again. So some of you were, again, advocating, specifically Leos. You were seeking something that was not where your heart is. Was it a career? Was it a person? Was it, was it an intention? Whatever that intention was. Its companion is action. Its companion is action. It says baby steps are still steps, and they're better than standing still. Baby steps are still steps, and they're better than standing still. So maybe you were advocating, you were playing devil's advocate for something that was not in your favor, but now Spirit is telling you to take steps of action. So maybe now it's time to take action to advocate for yourself, fire sign, or to advocate for something that is more deserving of your energy and your input and your advocacy, for that matter. Because advocacy involves sticking your neck out for something, right? So if I'm advocating for something, then I'm expecting, respect in return, right? Or I'm expecting some type of a reciprocal exchange in return, correct? Right? If I'm advocating for this, then it should be advocating for me, correct? Okay, so it's time to take action, is what this next card is saying. Take baby steps. Baby steps are still steps in the right direction, and they are better than standing still. So it's time to take action in your advocacy for whatever it is to right the wrong. All right. The next card was in the suit of swords, and it's theft reversed. So with this card showing up after advocating, so with this card showing up, I want to put these side by side. And then the next card is space. So something that you were advocating for that was not in your interest, if some type of action needed to be involved, or maybe you've already taken action. If you haven't, it's time to take action to avoid this. Now this could be quite literally some type of a, if it's, honestly, when I look at cards in a reverse position, I don't take it as a literal meaning. I take this as this being some type of a metaphysical, because of the fact that it's reversed. So it's some type of a negative. So you would already look at theft as something negative in the first place. So I would say maybe this could even mean not just a physical theft. It could be robbing you of peace, or robbing you of your sense of self-worth, or robbing you of your sense of, your sense of determination, or even your self-confidence. So it's taking from you something that is not just literally stealing from you. No, you didn't literally steal from me, but you did steal my peace. You stole my time. You stole, you know what I'm saying? You stole my effort, you know. You stole my trust. So those are also things that are stolen as well. So for some of you, this reverse position, I'm seeing that, you know, that is taking something from you, not just from a literal sense. And the card that comes along with it is space. The quality of your life has more to do with what you remove from your life than what you add to it. Give yourself the gift of space. Again, the quality of your life has more to do with what you remove from your life than what you add to it. Give yourself the gift of space. So you need to give yourself, fire sign, you need to give yourself the gift of space from the thing that is stealing you of the things that you cannot see. So not just the literal theft of goods that you can, you know, go and file a police report or some shit like that. No, there's no police report for someone that has stolen your peace. There's no police report for someone that has stolen your self-confidence. No, there's nothing for that. No one cares but you. You know what I'm saying? No one cares. Literally, no one cares but you. So how much do you care, fire sign? That's what Spirit is asking you in this reading. How much do you care? Do you care enough to give yourself the gift of space? And that's what you've been called upon to do. And the very next card, after that theft, is the Ace of Cups, upright. Love, fertility, beginnings. So after the conflict comes the emotional stability, the emotional pinnacle, the emotional ecstasy of love, and love that brings about fertility, child. Fertility, not just in the sense of having children or procreating, but the fertility of relationships that can turn into businesses, that can turn into you know what I'm saying, resources, that can turn into networks, that can turn into new beginnings. The last word is beginnings. So the Ace of Cups, fertile relationships, fertile, emotionally safe and sound relationships. And the last card that came with it is Companion with Shine. Don't dim your light. The world needs your unique talents and gifts. Shine brightly. One more time. Don't dim your light. The world needs your unique talents and gifts. Shine brightly. So Ace of Cups is saying that if you gift yourself that gift of space, you're going to be rewarded with the cup of, you know, those great or those great choices as far as it goes with your emotional ability to have those emotional ties that are going to be bountiful and fruitful and multiply and fertile, and you know, all of that. You're going to have that. You're going to be gifted with that once you release this. You got to stop advocating for things that do not serve you. Stop advocating for things that do not serve you. And I want to get into the astrology one more time before we close this out. So yes, fire signs, specifically Leo, Sag and Aries, Sagittarius. Your why is digging into your spirit. That's how you're going to give up the, you know, that negative attribute of advocating for, you know, playing devil's advocate for things that do not serve you, that do not reciprocate that same advocacy. your why is going to be searching into your spirituality and gaining insight on navigation through using spiritual tools and spiritual counsel, and reshaping and reframing your outdated philosophies. Sagittarius, the way that you look at the world, you need to reframe and you need to revisit. Aries, for you, is going to be through really looking into your subconscious mind and learning from the past and learning, you know, things that you've already, it's knowledge that you already know that you may have forgotten or that you may have abandoned somewhere along the way, but it's information that you already know, and reframing and reshaping the way that you view and that you show up in the world, who you show up as, you know. And then for Leo, for you, it's going to be you being emotionally vulnerable, you learning how to have emotional intelligence. Allow your heart to shine, you know, not just, you know, wanting your ego to take center. Allow your heart to shine. So if you do that, no more theft. No more theft. No more theft. No one will be stealing anything from you, because now you have freed up the space for the fertile relationships that is up for. You know what I'm saying? That is up for. You know? And it's guaranteed for you. All you got to do is shine your light. Most definitely. Don't dim it. Shine it. All right. So thank you guys so much for joining me on today for Tarot Time with Amani for this upcoming week. I would love it if you would like, subscribe, and share. I will talk to y'all next week. Peace.